Hello and welcome everybody. Let's move this up a little bit. Hello and welcome everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the end of another week. The beginning of July, the start of Independence Day weekend here in the United States, and another Sectors Made Simple webinar. Today, we have a special webinar because we've been around for 2 years. Sectors Made Simple started on June 29th of 2020, right in the middle of the beginning of this, whole craziness that we've been living in for the past 2 years. But we started off this company with a single goal: make investing simpler. Investing is a world of unlimited possibilities and unlimited concerns. It's no surprise that when people are given choices, the more choices they're given, the less likely they are to pick one. So, Sectors Made Simple started with the goal of wanting to give you less choices, but not get rid of possibilities, just narrow down what we have to look at when we're looking at all of those possibilities. That's where we got started, where we started off with a very, very simple look at the S&P 500 through 11 different market sectors and the S&P 500 itself. Hence the name Sectors Made Simple. Since then, we have grown a lot, both in terms of the tools that we offer, the support that we can provide, and yes, the webinars that we have offered here on our YouTube channel. As of right now, we have 92 members webinars in addition to the standalone courses that we've had from the Girasoles, as well as this is webinar number 93 that we've provided for free here on YouTube. So it's been an incredible journey of getting to explore different financial topics and provide our followers with a more well-rounded financial education. It's no surprise that when it comes to trying to understand the market, one of the biggest things that we need to balance is this idea of missing out on something, that fear of missing out, or FOMO. We need to balance that with the people that are promising huge returns, but don't mention the huge risks involved, that YOLO side of things. This balance of missing out, but also remembering that investing involves risk, has been a subject of many webinars. And many of our tools we have created to help demystify some of those concerns and provide ways of seeing for real where your returns would be if you could do that strategy for some historical period of time. And that brings us to today. Today, Sectors Made Simple, well, I guess 2 days ago on Wednesday, Sectors Made Simple turned 2 years old. And we've grown significantly in the past 2 years, but the past year especially. Nate, our developer, has been incredibly hardworking in creating more tools, resources, and making Sectors Made Simple simpler for us all to use. Both all of you and also Kira and myself. So today I wanted to go through and look at what the past year for Sectors Made Simple has looked like. We're going to talk about what's new, what's changed, and also I want to share some very interesting numbers for you all when it comes to our webinars. Because most of the time that you see this is in these webinars. So I've done a lot of talking, but also you all have done a lot of watching and listening and learning. So I want to highlight your accomplishments with Sectors Made Simple as well. But I'm not a one-man show here. I hope that all of you that are watching this, if you are a Sectors Made Simple subscriber, please feel free to put your own story in the chat, share your experiences with others, and whether you're a subscriber or not, if you have any questions today about Sectors Made Simple, what we're planning in the future, or anything, feel free to ask. This is very much meant to be a conversation as we show what's happened in the past year, what's happening right now, and what our plans for the near future are looking like. So, without any further ado, let's get straight into the conversation today. We're going to begin, also, there's no slideshow today, it's just me talking, and then also we'll be looking at my screen quite a bit. But I want to get started by talking about the first big update that we made to Sectors Made Simple. Last summer, immediately after the launch of our Spreadsheets Made Simpler class, I'll come back to that one in a minute, we launched custom matrices. This idea of the matrix was the beginning of Sectors Made Simple. I'm going to show us a really quick look at what the matrix looks like for those that might not be familiar. This is the matrix. It is a way of looking at a large group of securities, in this case, sector ETFs and the good old S&P 500 itself, and seeing in one single picture who the leaders are today. We can look at the leaders in short term, which is X count, and long term, which is positive trend. And we can combine the two together to get an overall score. This matrix updates every single day. So if you notice at the top, it says July 1st of 2022. If you checked yesterday, it would say June of 2022. Because the matrix updates every day, we want to be able to see what's grown, what's fallen, who our leaders are today, and who were the leaders yesterday, or a week ago, or 2 weeks ago. So in addition to the matrix, that is the reason why we offer momentum. The matrix is a picture of today. Momentum is a way of comparing what's changed from some time in the past to today. It's kind of funny because you can do something very similar with our webinars. You can go back in time and go watch a webinar from 2 months ago, and I might have a little bit less of a beard, a little bit less of just hair in general on my face. Or it could be back when getting haircuts wasn't a thing that we could do, and my hair was grown out for 14 months. You know, you live and your hair continues to grow. But that's an example of the way that we can compare what it looks like today, what Jonathan looks like today, compare it to some time in the past to see what has changed in that time. So, what better way to show momentum than to show how momentum has changed over the past year? The market has changed significantly in the past year. We've seen huge global changes, including the global economy starting to reopen. We've seen war and conflict, and we've seen massive trade restrictions and supply chain issues in the form of Chinese lockdowns, as well as disturbances in European supply chains and energy availability, or resource availability. So, with that said, I want to take a look really quickly at what has changed in the matrix in the past year as an example of how momentum can be used. Now, when you come to the matrix, you get this predefined list of comparing today's matrix against the previous day, 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, 1 month ago, and even just 1 month ago. Look how much change we've seen. Remember that the highest score you can have on the matrix is 22. The lowest score is 0. In this case, we see that energy has fallen 19 in the past month. That's almost the maximum that's even possible. Energy went from being our sector leader to being towards the bottom of the matrix, where if we sorted this by total count, it is the bottom of the matrix. But we're not talking about 1 month here. Let's take a look at the past year. So to do that, we're going to compare today's matrix against the matrix from last year on July 1st. And we'll get to see, maybe I broke it. Well, in that case, let's try doing this. Let's compare just to the beginning of this year. Let me just get this all set up over here really quickly. We'll compare to the beginning of this year, because this will still show us a significant amount of change. Now, going back 1 year almost would show too much, but let's take a look here instead at what's changed in the past just 6 months. Because if we look here, we'll see a significant amount of change in the market. Interestingly, energy has been a leader for a large part of 2022. But if we compare it to the beginning of the year, before this Ukraine and Russia war, before energy became a large topic of conversation, and before the price of energy shot through the roof, energy was not a leader. In fact, we see energy towards the bottom of the matrix still. And by bottom of the matrix, I mean the bottom of the matrix. But back then, we saw some different leaders. We saw technology as our overall market leader. Technology has fallen, but many of the leaders that we saw 6 months ago remain our leaders today, being the three titans of defensive sectors. We see healthcare, staples, and, well, utilities is not up there, but staples and healthcare definitely were. This is interesting to us because we get to see how sector rotation can change significantly or can have very little change. And I'm showing extreme examples here just so we can see the scope of what you can compare. But again, you can just look 1 week ago and see massive shifts in sector relative strength. So what we end up seeing, apparently the 1 year ago matrix is working. It was a me problem. It's always a me problem, let's be honest. Let's try this again. Hey, there we go. Anyway, go figure. The way to fix things is always the old tech support adage. Try turning it off and on again. Try turning it off and on again, John. All right, so now we're looking at the matrix compared to where it was July 1st of 2021. I don't think I need to tell you the fact that everything has changed since then. Industrials is the only one that decided, nah, we're good. We're good right here. Everyone else has gained and lost strength. Notice, though, the three sectors that have gained strength. Those three defensive sectors: staples, utilities, healthcare. Like I mentioned before, this is an extreme example. We are looking here at 1 year changes, ignoring anything else that has happened in the market. And I'll tell you what, the last year in the market has not been normal. But sector rotation is not a new idea. Market rotation in the form of cyclicality and seasonality are not new ideas. And this gives us a very clear indication of how these market cycles have changed over the past years. Out are the very offensive sectors, in are the very defensive sectors. And looking at today's matrix alone confirms that. We're not even just seeing a little bit of a leadership. What's the right word? We're not seeing just a small gap between the leaders and the middle of the pack. When we look at the matrix, it doesn't just show one leader. It shows a rank of everybody. And we see first, second, and third out of 22, 19, 18, 17. Then 9. There are massive, massive gaps between our three defensive sector leaders at the moment and the entirety of the rest of the market. And this kind of insight wouldn't be possible without the matrix and without momentum to allow us to see where we have come from and where we are today. So that was the first big change that we made. We added the ability to have custom momentum to the matrix and also made some really nice improvements to our momentum table. we now have the ability for you to see every individual chart to see if it's changed and how it's changed. Down arrows indicate a loss in strength, while up arrows indicate an increase in strength. A dash means no change. So this is what the matrix looks like today, July 1st of 2022. And if you notice, and if you compare it to last year, the matrix hasn't changed much, but the design of the page and how easy it is to use definitely has. One thing that has not changed, if you ever have questions about how to read the matrix, there is a help article here with lots of good information for you on how to read it, what all the letters mean, and how to decipher the hieroglyphics into something you can use to invest. Now, I kind of got a little bit sidetracked from where all of this started because I wanted to show off the first big update that we had in 2021, custom matrices. This is something that Sectors Made Simple subscribers get to hear a lot about because one of the ways that we've been following the stock market over the past 6 months has been by using custom matrices, where we'll create custom matrices for a grouping of companies. For example, we have one that tracks indices, one that tracks ETFs in the energy sector, one that tracks financials, semiconductors, and in recent months, we've added 2 new ones. As the market enters a bear market, our strategy needs to shift a little bit. And one of the ways that we can shift it is by looking at companies that offer dividends. These little checks in the mail, or figurative checks in the mail, that give you some sort of income as that security sits there and hopefully retains its value, better yet, goes up. These custom matrices look identical to the actual matrix, but it allows you to see any group of up to 7 companies and see their relative strengths. We get to see where it is today. Well, in this case, it's June 21st. But what I'll do is I'll hit rerun up here in the top right, and we'll refresh this. And by the time I'm done with this explanation, this custom matrix will be updated to today. What a custom matrix gives you is the ability to look at anything. You already have stocks in your portfolio? Great. Put them all into a custom matrix. So if you want to pick up a new stock, maybe the stock you've been keeping an eye on finally went on a buy signal, but you don't know what to sell. A custom matrix can help you out to figure out some options for what you could sell. Or maybe you just want to keep an eye on some different companies and compare them to its sector and to the market as a whole. You can do that as well. By using this little plus in the bottom right, you can use up to 7 different companies from the entire US equities market. Anything that is bought and sold on a US stock exchange, we have here for you to create a custom matrix with. Now, if we look here, our custom matrix will be done. Creating a custom matrix takes, Creating a custom matrix takes about 5 to 10 minutes for it to run. Updating one, 2 to 3 minutes. And all of them are saved. In fact, I have 84 of them. So you can always go back and you can look at the custom matrices that you've run in the past. And once again, all of these custom matrices come with momentum. So you can see who the leaders were even just 1 week ago and who those leaders are today. All right, let's see if this custom matrix has completed its run. There we go. Nate's just sitting over there trying to see, all right, how is Jonathan going to try and break my things this time? So now we get to see this custom matrix as it looks like today on July 1st. And the beautiful thing about custom matrices, there's no limit to how many you can make, and you can rerun them at any time, all included with your subscription. And this is just the way that I have used custom matrices to share information with Sectors Made Simple subscribers. But I've heard and seen numerous ways that all of you have been using custom matrices as well to help evaluate your current portfolio, take a list of stocks you have in your watch list and decide which one you might want to buy, and many, many more. So this was the first major update that we had in 2021. The second big one was later on in 2022, at the very beginning of 2022, in fact, we had the Learn site. And the Learn site's an interesting one because it's changed just in the past month. We just recently unveiled the new version of the Learn site. Our Learn site is our place that we put everything that we provide for education purposes. You can find all of our webinars. You can find all of our standalone series. So far, we just have one, the Spreadsheets Made Simpler series. I'll show you that in a moment. But we also offer many of our webinars organized into courses so that you can take one or two topics that you're interested in and from start to finish, learn everything there is to know about that topic that we offer. So I want to take you all on a quick tour of the new Learn site really quick. So let's start off on courses. Let's start off on webinars. Why not? The first thing you're going to find on the webinars page are links to our upcoming webinars. Many subscribers and non-subscribers want to know, all right, how do I join the next webinar? Right here. This is the way. You click here and it brings you to the current webinar or to the next webinar. What if you missed the webinar and you want to watch the recording? Our most recent webinars are put right here for you to watch. But what if that's not enough and you want to explore literally every webinar that we have ever done? Have fun, you're going to be watching those for a while. But if there's a specific topic you're interested in, you can come to the All Webinar section and you can either type in whatever you want to know about. So let's say ETFs. And you can see all of the webinars that we offer on ETFs. Or you can also filter by tag. So you can go and filter webinars on ETFs. And then you can search once again. Let's see ones on relative strength. So here are the two webinars on ETFs and on relative strength that we have. And if you want to only see webinars that are offered in Spanish, you can sit here or you can filter here to only see webinars that we've done in Spanish. Si prefieres ver solamente webinarios en español, tenemos una opción aquí para ver solamente webinarios en español. Pero cada video que tenemos tienen subtítulos en español. Para obtener esto, cuando entres a ver un video, haz clic aquí en el CC y español. Y después vas a ver que tenemos subtítulos en español para cada webinario. If you prefer to watch your webinars in Spanish, but the webinar is in English, we offer subtitles in Spanish for every one of our webinars. If you don't want to listen to me talk and you'd rather just read the information, I understand that. We also offer English subtitles as well for all of our webinars. So, fun story about this little word. When we first got started with doing Sectors Made Simple webinars, so was my favorite word. And Kira had to sit there and do all of these transcriptions herself. And the amount of times that she had to write so that the subtitles would read correctly. If she had a nickel for every one, she'd be retired by now. So thank you for putting up with all of my so many so's. So let's move on. That is the webinar section. You do not need to have a subscription to start using this. The Learn site offers all of our 93 hours of webinars, the 93 topics that we've covered in the past, for free for you to take advantage of. All you need is a free account. We don't ask for a credit card. We just ask for the basic information that you need. You can get an account set up in 3 minutes and start learning in a way that's very fun, easy, and also a way that you can search for the topics that you're interested in. But what if you want a little bit more direction than just 90 hours of webinars? Or if you're a subscriber, 184 hours of webinars. That's where the courses section comes in. We have organized many of the primary topics we've talked about here at Sectors Made Simple into courses that you can view on the Learn site. When you look at one of these courses, it will tell you what you will learn. And it is our goal that most of these courses start off with webinars that don't require a subscription. So you can see, without having to get halfway through the class and find out, oh, I needed to pay to actually learn anything. You get to know right up front what you will learn without a subscription, and if you do have a subscription, what additional topics you can learn about with that. All of these webinars are organized, and when you complete one webinar, it will remember that you've completed that webinar. So if you watched one on your computer and one on your laptop and one on your phone, it will remember all of that. And we have one or two or a bunch more courses. Many different courses, and some new ones coming up in the very, very near future, including subsector spotlights and more. Now, the last thing I want to show you all is our standalone courses. These classes are available for an additional cost, but are much more in-depth than our normal webinars. These classes include homeworks and projects that will drive you to end up building a stock screener. Within the Sectors Made Simple Advanced series, by the very end of it, you will have learned the skills to build, and also you will have a stock screener that you can plug in companies and instantly get to see how their fundamentals stack up. All of that you learn in 12 hours, and that series is available for purchase for members and non-members. Sectors Made Simple subscribers or annual subscribers get a 50% discount on that class if they're interested. So that was the Learn site. January was the unveiling of the site for the first time. Just a few weeks ago was the update, where we gave it all a really nice facelift, gave it some new shiny clothes, and shoved it out into public for you all to enjoy. So that is the Learn site as it looks today, and we're extremely happy how much it has grown just in the past 6 months. It's funny, when we were doing preparation for this webinar, I saw Learn site released in January, and it was weird because I feel like the Learn site's been around forever. But that's just been something we added in the past 6 months, and we're extremely happy to be able to offer to Sectors Made Simple subscribers and non-subscribers to take advantage of all of the content we have to offer. Next, we come back to the matrix to see the updated matrix that we have created. Again, it's kind of hard to show you what it looked like before because this is the version that we have today. But in addition to the matrix, the update brought many features that we had in various places on the old matrix or on the old dashboard, but we've reorganized to help make the information a little bit more cohesive. Namely, sector ETFs. This is a new section that the original matrix did not have. You now get to see all of the sector ETFs that we look at, their daily price changes today, as well as their point and figure buy or sell signals. And lastly, because we like both our short-term direction and long-term trend, you get the current column as well. So you get current column for short term, and you get your buy or sell signal for long term. These update daily and make sure that you can keep up with everything happening in sector rotation, both relative and absolute strength. But everything we've talked about so far has been centered around the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is only 500 companies. The New York Stock Exchange alone is significantly more. And also, we're not here to try and create something that others have also created. We want to provide you all with information that you can't find elsewhere. We want to provide you information that helps you invest simpler. If it's already out there, we want to show you where it is. If it's not out there, we want to bring it to you. Something that is available out there on stock charts is S&P 500 bullish percents, a way of looking at an entire group of companies and seeing how many of those companies are on a buy signal right now. It's a great way for us to understand the health of a specific sector. But again, we're only talking about the S&P 500 here. Some sectors only have 22 companies, 23 companies. It's not enough. It is not enough. So to provide more information and more valuable information, we added sector BPIs for the entire New York Stock Exchange. Looking at over thousands of companies every day, we can see how many of those companies are on buy or sell signals. We get both the total percent. So for example, in the S&P 500, 1 in 3 companies right now is on a buy signal. We also get the direction of that percentage. In this case, that number is going up. 2 weeks ago, in our weekly newsletter that we send out, we mentioned how every single one of our sector BPIs was in a column of O's. Every single one of our sectors was in a sell signal, and every single one of our columns of current prices was in a column of downward O's. Since then, we've been able to look at the matrix and follow these changes day by day as the market starts to show signs of minor but notable recovery. We've started to see companies sector ETFs reverse into positive directions, and we've started to see many sector BPIs, so many abbreviations. We started to see sector BPIs rising as well, providing us with not only information, but potential areas of opportunity that we can consider moving forward. Originally, all of this information up here was available in only chart form. We added this table to help give you a little bit more clarity and simplify finding information about our sector BPIs and our sector prices. But if you like having charts, we didn't get rid of the charts, don't worry. You can click on any of the ETF names or on any of the BPI names to see the BPI chart for that specific BPI, the point and figure charts for that specific BPI or sector ETF. All of these update daily, just like the matrix, so that you get to follow events as they happen and keep up to date with what's happening in the world of sector rotation, not just in the S&P 500, but in the New York Stock Exchange as well. Now, the next thing that I want to show from the April update to the matrix is backtesting. Backtesting has always been something that we've followed closely here at Sectors Made Simple. It's our ability for us to look at strategies and help find strategies using the matrix that provide positive results. Now, the strategies have changed over time, but one thing that has not changed is that these strategies outperformed the stock market in the past year. And not just the past year, the past years. we have seen these strategies outperform the stock market. Now, I want to show you all an example of how backtesting can be used by looking at a strategy that we've talked about numerous times in both members and non-members webinars. And I'll show you how easy that strategy would be to use. To show the results of this before we even get into how you do it, let's go back in time to July 2nd of 2021. 1 year ago on Fridays. Fridays matter because this strategy trades Friday afternoons. We're only going to buy the top one sector. We're going to buy it every Friday. And if we click add condition, we can tell it how to invest. We want short-term momentum, so X count momentum of 2 or more for the 2-week momentum. And then as our tiebreaker, we want a total count of at least 1. Best sector of the week was, you'll get to see that because I'm going to show you what that strategy would look like to actually use it. And while today is after the market, as far as my non-existent watch tells us, I do want to show you an example of how this strategy could be used if you had looked at it during the trading day. So let's go and take a look. Error while running backtest. I bet you I have to refresh the page. Let's try this again. So 1, rebalance every week. X count momentum of 2 or more for the 2-week momentum. And total count. And we can run that strategy to see how this strategy would have done compared to the S&P 500 over the past year. Well, if you had invested in SPY, bought SPY 1 year ago, went into a year-long sleep and woke up, you would have lost 10% of your money. Had you invested with this strategy, you would have made 29%. Now, I'm going to be honest here. It is not my job to try and sell you on this strategy because the market has not been very happy in 2022. The S&P 500 has lost significant value, and it's not simple for us to have a very linear strategy that always beats the market. Strategies will have ups, downs, and everything in between. So to be very transparent with you all, I do want to show the strategy's results with 2022 only so that you get an honest view and you're not just saying, oh, well, he's showing a period that it did better. I want to be very transparent with you all when I show these strategies. So this is what it's done in the past year or the past 6 months. It has lost 2.2%. Okay, you lost money, but compare that to the near 18% that the S&P 500 has lost in the same period. Is this strategy free money? No. No strategy is, and again, I will be here and be the first to tell you that. There is no 100% profitable strategy. But when the SPY has lost 18%, our strategy lost 2.2%. As one final example of this strategy, let's go back and see how it would have done in 2021 if we traded it all of 2021. SPY went up 27%, our strategy up 80.6%. It will not always return money, but the one thing I can give you confidence in is that this strategy over time, in the past 6 months, even with as bad as the market has been, has still outperformed the market. In good markets, and as we've learned in the past 6 months, in bad markets as well. Disclaimer, these are past results, and past results can never guarantee future performance. With that said, let me show you what that strategy would look like if you had sectors made simple. On Friday before market close, you would come to the matrix. Keep in mind, I'm looking at the matrix from Friday, but the matrix you would look at when you came in to do your purchase would be Thursday's matrix. You would look at Thursday's matrix, scroll down to momentum, and do 2 weeks ago. You would sort by X count, and you would take this highest sector, or the sector with the highest X count momentum, as long as it's 2 or more. So if this was yesterday's matrix, we would have bought utilities. If for whatever reason 2 sectors have the same X count, we would go off the highest total count. That's it. So if this was during the market hours on Friday, I would log on to the matrix, scroll down here, 2-week momentum, XLU, go into my portfolio, buy XLU, come back next week. 5 minutes is what it takes. To outperform the market in 2021 by almost 3 times. And once again, looking very honestly at 2022, holding even over a period where the S&P has lost almost 20%. So that is the matrix. That is custom matrices. That is our sector ETFs, and that is sector strategies. All of this information is available through the Sectors Made Simple dashboard. Now, the final thing that I want to show you all is also the beginning of what's our next plans. If you visit sectorsmadesimple.com and you look up underneath where my face is, right here, you'll see a little EN. If you click that, our entire website turns Spanish. Every page, from logging in to learning more, everything on our homepage is available in Spanish. Toda la información en nuestro sitio de sectorsmadesimple.com tienen translaciones, wow, that's a hard word to say, en español. Y ahora estamos trabajando para obtener más para ti. We are also working on more abilities to translate our resources for you all. So right now, you can get sectorsmadesimple.com in Spanish. Very soon, you will be able to have the matrix. And after that, hopefully the Learn site as well, all translated to Spanish as well. So you can use this little language changer to see all of the information in whatever language you'd prefer right away. And that brings us almost to the end. That brings us up to today, July 1st of 2022. We have been around for 2 years. One of the last things that I want to talk about with you all is also part of the reason that you're probably here, webinars. We offer significant numbers of webinars, almost one every single week in 2021 and 2022, to help you learn various investment and financial literacy topics. Now, again, I want to celebrate not only Sectors Made Simple, but celebrate all of you as well, because these webinars wouldn't be possible without everyone that watches either recorded or live and joins us as we try and provide more information to help everyone invest simpler. So with that said, I want to share some highlights, some of your highlights from the past year. Over the past year, we offered a number of different webinars, both in English and Spanish, both from me and Julie Stav, my mom. The webinar that has had the largest number of views was the RSI webinar, the Relative Strength Index Investment Strategies webinar that my mom did back in February of this year. If you're interested for that webinar, I'll post the link in chat right now for you. That webinar was one of our largest that we had. The largest webinar that I got to partake with you all was at the very beginning of all of this conversation of a bear market. We talked about 3 ways that you can invest in a bear market. So right here, or rather, that webinar was fantastic. It was very, very fun to put on with you all. And many of the topics that we covered in that webinar are valuable today as well. Seeing as how, according to my non-existent watch, we are in a bear market still. So those are 2 of our most popular webinars that we did, but we had many others as well. And in fact, if we looked at all of the webinars that we have done over the past year, we would see that we have gotten 130,400 views on our webinars. 130,000 of you have watched our webinars and enjoyed the information that we have to offer. Mariana, si el curso de El Rincón de Juana es solamente en español, para entrar a estas clases necesitas una suscripción. Si tienes una suscripción y necesitas la enlace, por favor envíanos un email a support@sectorsmadesimple.com y podemos ayudarte con la enlace. Gracias. So once again, 130,000 of you have watched our webinars over the past year. That is absolutely insane to think about. Now, that's how many of you have watched them, but how long have you watched them? Well, you all have put in 30,800 hours of watching our webinars. If we turn that into years, that is 1,283 years of me talking to you about various financial topics. Me or my mom talking to you about various financial topics. That's insane. That is a lot of time spent, but also a lot of education that has been shared with everyone. And it has been a pleasure for us to get to provide such a large amount of information, but also for it to have as much reach and value as it has. In addition, our YouTube channel, while we don't really show the subscribers down below, we have gained over 1,100 subscribers throughout the past year. That means a lot to us, because that means you don't just find one webinar interesting. It means you want to stick around and get notified on new webinars and stay involved in what we're working on here to help you invest simpler. So now, from me to all of you, thank you all so much for engaging with our webinars, participating in the chat, and being part of the reason why we are where we are today. It wouldn't be possible without all of you participating, so thank you. Now, that brings us to the end of what's happened over the past year. I really quickly want to share just a few highlights of what we are looking at doing in the very near future. The first one is, right now, we have the El Rincón de Juana webinar series that my mom has been doing. That series is focused on taking those that want to take their investment to the next level, be it with day trading, options, or both, and giving them resources, strategies, and a support community for them to be able to explore these ways of trading more actively. That series is available for annual subscribers for Sectors Made Simple. The other thing that we have coming up in the very, very near future is we're going to have our Figuring Out Finance series. While the El Rincón de Juana class is for those advanced students that want to learn about day trading and options, the Figuring Out Finance series is the basics. It is meant for the person that doesn't know where to start, but wants to learn. It is a well-rounded education in both financial literacy as well as the basics of investing. That class series will begin a week from next Monday, on July 11th. And while the class is focused on students, we do cater the information towards students. It's important resources for anybody who is starting off their financial journey or want to take more control over their financial situation or their financial well-being, and give you those resources all in one place. No required homeworks, instead projects to help you capitalize on the information you want to focus on. So those series will be running throughout the summer, both the El Rincón de Juana as well as the Figuring Out Finance series, one for advanced, one for basics. And we will still be continuing with both our members and non-members webinars in the months to come. So expect to see plenty more webinars on Fridays, and members expect to continue seeing webinars from us every Tuesday as well, at the same time, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, beyond that, part of what we've been working on is translating more of our sites and resources into Spanish. We want to eventually provide everything we offer in both English and Spanish, not just subtitles, but full site translations as well. So expect to see the Matrix coming soon in Spanish, and the Learn site hopefully soon to come after that. And then finally, many of you have enjoyed getting to see spreadsheets from us, exploring how spreadsheets can be used to study the market. But spreadsheets only start to scratch the surface of an entire area that we want to explore more of: analysis. This way of looking at a lot of information and making order out of chaos, providing you all with new ways to look at the stock market in a way that's fun and approachable. We want to provide you all very advanced analysis, but in a way that is usable. What good is hearing a bunch of crazy numbers if you don't know why the heck they matter and why and how you can use that? So we want to give that all to you. We want to do the research. We want to find the discoveries and then share those discoveries with you all and how you can use that information to invest simpler. Those are the big projects that we have next on our plates. But in the meantime, we will continue looking for more ways that we can improve everything that we are doing here to help you invest simpler. It is very much our goal to provide information, resources, tools, analysis, and a little bit of comedy to help make investing fun, easy, approachable, and most importantly, when you have questions, simple to get the answers that you need. With that said, if you ever have questions, comments, or anything that you need to know about, you can always reach out to us at support@sectorsmadesimple.com, and we're more than happy to help. Show us the little video. Oh. For those that don't follow us on Facebook, we recently, when we were launching the Figuring Out Finance webinar series, we got together to make an advertisement for it. And we went a little crazy when we were making that ad. So, to send us off, I want to share with you what happens when the Sectors Made Simple team gets together and tries to make a commercial. So please enjoy our attempts at making a commercial, Nate's best attempt at being our director yelling "quiet on set," and the absurdity that ensues. Quiet on set was not observed that day. Right, what was observed was absurdity, a lot of fun, and a reminder of why we're doing this. It's supposed to be fun, providing information, learning information, and exploring how we can all invest better. It is an ongoing journey because the market always changes, but one thing that stays the same is that Sectors Made Simple will be here to help make knowledge from what's going on in the market and to help us all invest simpler. So, thank you all for another amazing year of Sectors Made Simple. If you aren't a subscriber and you're interested in joining this absurdity that we do here, you're always welcome to join our community by purchasing either a 3, 6, or annual subscription on our site, sectorsmadesimple.com. We hope that you all can join us as we continue into our 3rd year of helping everyone invest simpler. So from me, Kira, my mom, Nate, and our cat Cleo, wherever our little mascot may be, thank you all so much. Have a great 4th of July weekend, and we'll look forward to seeing you all in a webinar very, very soon. Bye, everyone.